Picture a young girl struggling to solve a math problem. She tries again and again, failing each time, but she refuses to give up. Eventually, she finds the answer. Was it her natural talent that got her there, or something else? Angela Duckworth believes it's something else, something more powerful than talent alone. It's grit, a mix of passion and perseverance that helps people push through challenges and keep working toward their goals. In her book, Duckworth shares stories of people who've succeeded not because they were the smartest or the strongest, but because they kept going when others stopped. She shows how grit can be developed by anyone, no matter their background or abilities. This book invites you to think differently about success and failure. It's not just about winning or being the best, it's about the courage to try, fail, and keep moving forward. Through science and real life examples, Duckworth inspires readers to find their own grit and use it to achieve something meaningful. Chapter 1: The Power of Showing Up. In this chapter, the author delves into the profound impact that simply being present can have on someone's life, especially during difficult times. It begins by acknowledging that in moments of hardship, whether it's grief, illness, or any personal struggle, people often feel disconnected from the world around them. During such times, many individuals find themselves at a loss for what to say or do. The pressure to fix the situation or offer the perfect words can be overwhelming. However, the author points out that it's not the perfect solution or grand gesture that makes the difference. It's the willingness to show up and offer presence, regardless of how imperfect or uncertain we may feel. The chapter emphasizes that showing up doesn't require having the right words or answers. In fact, sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is to sit in silence, to listen without interruption, or to just be there when they need company. These small, often understated actions can provide more comfort and support than any attempt to fix the situation. For example, offering a friend a simple meal, sitting next to them without speaking, or sending a quick message of support can help to ease the emotional burden they're carrying, showing them they are not alone. The author also reflects on how showing up creates a deeper bond between people. It's a reminder that we're not isolated in our struggles. Our presence for others can be a lifeline. The connection built by showing up is authentic, grounded in vulnerability, and rooted in shared humanity. It's not about performing an action or offering something material. It's about offering your attention, your care, and your willingness to stand beside someone, even when you don't know how to make things better. Through personal anecdotes and examples, the chapter demonstrates that showing up doesn't require perfection. You don't need to have all the answers or solve someone's problems. Sometimes it's enough to simply be there. These moments of presence can help individuals feel seen, heard, and validated, providing emotional support in ways that words or actions alone cannot accomplish. In essence, this chapter emphasizes that showing up is a powerful tool for human connection. It creates a space where people feel understood and less alone in their struggles, and this act of solidarity can make a significant difference in their lives. It's about taking that first step to be present for someone without the need for perfection or worry about whether you're doing it right. Just showing up, in whatever form that may take, is often the most valuable gift we can give to others. Chapter 2: Distracted by Talent. In this chapter, the author explores how society places excessive value on talent, often overlooking the importance of effort, persistence, and perseverance. Many people believe that success comes easily for those with natural talent, but the reality is far different. Talent may open doors, but it's the sustained effort and grit that lead to lasting success. The chapter starts by highlighting how we are often distracted by the allure of talent. From childhood, we are taught to admire and strive for natural ability, believing that people who excel in certain areas were simply born with a gift. This myth leads to a false belief that if you aren't naturally talented at something, you shouldn't bother trying. However, the author argues that talent is just the starting point. It's only through continued effort and practice that talent turns into real achievement. Real life examples and research are used to challenge this common perception. The chapter shares stories of famous individuals, athletes, musicians, and business leaders who may have had initial talent but didn't reach their greatest potential until they committed to hard work and overcoming setbacks. The author reveals how even those we consider naturally gifted often struggle and fail before eventually succeeding, demonstrating that talent alone isn't enough to guarantee success. The key idea presented in this chapter is the concept that effort counts twice. Talent is important, but it's the effort you put into developing that talent, improving your skills, and working through challenges that truly leads to success. It's not about being born with a gift. It's about cultivating the perseverance and determination to push through obstacles and continue growing. The chapter emphasizes that the more effort you put in, the more you build on your talent, which in turn leads to greater success. The chapter concludes with a powerful reminder that success is not reserved for the naturally gifted. Instead, it's accessible to anyone who is willing to put in the effort, practice, and determination. The idea of grit, the combination of passion and perseverance, is what ultimately drives achievement. Talent may help you get started, but it's your commitment to keep going that truly determines how far you'll go. Chapter 3, Effort Counts Twice. In this chapter, the author introduces the powerful concept that effort counts twice. This idea challenges the traditional belief that talent alone leads to success. The core message of the chapter is that effort doesn't just help you perform better in the short term, it also compounds over time, making your talent grow and improve with practice. The chapter begins by explaining that while talent gives you a head start, it's the effort you put into refining that talent that makes the real difference. The author compares talent to potential energy and effort to the force needed to transform that energy into action. Without effort, talent remains untapped, unable to reach its full potential. But when effort is consistently applied, talent is developed and skill is gained. The author explains the two ways in which effort counts. One, effort to improve talent. The first way effort counts is by improving talent itself. Talent might help you start strong, but without effort, your progress will plateau. By putting in the work, whether it's practicing a skill, gaining knowledge, or seeking feedback, you develop your abilities and make them stronger. This consistent effort helps you build on your initial talent and reach new levels of success. Number 2, effort to keep going. The second way effort counts is by enabling perseverance. The most successful people are not those who avoid failure, but those who keep going despite setbacks and challenges. Effort is what pushes you to continue trying, learning from mistakes, and improving over time. Without this persistent effort, talent will be wasted and progress will stall. The chapter uses several examples to illustrate this idea. For instance, the author highlights the stories of athletes, musicians, and artists who didn't rely solely on their natural gifts. They worked tirelessly, faced obstacles, and kept improving through consistent effort. These examples show how, over time, effort compounds, leading to greater success than relying solely on initial talent. In the end, the chapter emphasizes that the formula for success is simple. Talent times effort equals skill, and skill times effort equals achievement. The key takeaway is that while talent is important, it's the effort you put in that determines your growth and eventual success. The chapter encourages readers to stop focusing on the idea of innate talent and instead prioritize the effort they are willing to invest in their dreams and goals. Chapter 4, How Gritty Are You? In this chapter, the author explores how grit, the combination of passion and perseverance, can be measured and developed. The central idea is that grit is not a fixed trait. It can be cultivated and strengthened over time. The chapter begins by presenting a grit scale, designed to assess how gritty someone is by evaluating their perseverance and long-term commitment to goals. The author explains that people who score high on the grit scale tend to be those who are able to maintain focus and effort toward their goals, even when faced with obstacles or failures. These individuals don't give up easily, and they have a deep passion for what they do, which helps them keep pushing forward, no matter how difficult the journey may be. The chapter also addresses the misconception that gritty people are simply born that way. Instead, the author argues that grit is built through consistent practice and determination. It's about developing the habit of sticking with something, even when it feels challenging or discouraging. To help readers assess their own level of grit, The chapter provides an exercise where individuals reflect on their past experiences and how they responded to setbacks. Were they able to stay committed to their goals, or did they give up too easily? The chapter encourages readers to think about their long term passions and consider how they can invest more effort into them, even when things aren't going well. The author highlights that grit is not about being stubborn or relentless for the sake of it. It's about being passionate about something and committing to it over the long haul, even when the initial excitement fades. Gritty people are willing to face failure, learn from mistakes, and keep going, knowing that success often takes time. In addition, the chapter shares examples of people from different walks of life who embody grit, demonstrating how perseverance and passion can lead to extraordinary achievements. Whether it's in business, sports, or personal growth, these stories show that grit is often the deciding factor between those who succeed and those who give up too soon. By the end of the chapter, readers are encouraged to embrace the idea that grit is a skill they can develop. The chapter concludes with actionable advice on how to strengthen one's grit, such as setting long term goals, developing resilience in the face of adversity, and continuously nurturing a sense of passion for the things that truly matter. Ultimately, the message is clear. Grit is a key ingredient for achieving lasting success, and anyone can cultivate it through consistent effort and dedication. Chapter 5: Grit Grows. In this chapter, the author dives into the idea that grit is not a fixed quality, but something that can be developed and strengthened over time. While some people may seem naturally gritty, the reality is that anyone can build their grit through intentional effort and practice. The chapter emphasizes that grit isn't just about pushing through challenges, it's about cultivating the right mindset and behaviors to stay committed to long term goals, no matter the obstacles. The chapter begins by discussing how grit is shaped by two key factors: passion and perseverance. Passion doesn't just mean being excited about a goal, it's about sustaining that passion over the long haul. Perseverance is about enduring setbacks and failure, continuously pushing forward. Together, these traits form the foundation of grit, and the chapter explores how they interact with one another to build resilience. The author then delves into how grit grows through practice and experience. While some people may be born with a certain level of passion or perseverance, grit can be nurtured through intentional choices and actions. For example, the chapter discusses how setting small, manageable goals can help build the perseverance needed to tackle bigger challenges later on. It's about proving to yourself that you can push through difficult moments, which then fuels your ability to stay focused on larger long term objectives. One key point the chapter makes is that setbacks are an essential part of growth. Failure doesn't mean giving up, it's an opportunity to learn, adjust, and try again. The chapter stresses that those who are willing to view challenges as learning experiences rather than roadblocks are more likely to develop grit. The ability to bounce back after failure and keep moving forward is a crucial part of growing grit. The author shares research and real life examples of people who have demonstrated that grit can be developed over time. These examples show how individuals who faced adversity, whether in their careers, personal lives, or studies, were able to build their grit through continuous effort. The chapter also highlights how grit grows within supportive environments. Having mentors, peers, or a community that encourages you to stay committed can help nurture perseverance and passion. Ultimately, the chapter provides a message of hope. No one is stuck with their current level of grit. By choosing to embrace challenges, focusing on long term goals, and learning from failure, anyone can grow their grit. The key is to keep working at it, day by day, because grit is a skill that gets stronger the more you use it. The chapter concludes with practical tips on how to foster the growth of grit, such as cultivating a growth mindset, setting specific and meaningful goals, and learning how to embrace failure as part of the journey. It reinforces that growing grit isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent and staying focused on the bigger picture. Chapter 6: Interest. In this chapter, the author explores the foundational role that interest plays in developing grit. Interest in this context refers to the passion or curiosity that drives a person to engage with a particular subject, skill, or activity over the long term. The chapter argues that interest is crucial because it sparks the initial motivation to dive deep into something, which, when combined with effort, contributes to the growth of grit. The author begins by explaining that interest doesn't usually appear fully formed. It is something that often develops over time as a person engages more deeply with a topic or activity. While some people might seem to have a natural attraction to certain subjects, for many, interest grows as they encounter challenges, learn new things, and experience small successes. The chapter emphasizes that this process of discovering and developing interest is essential to cultivating long term passion. One key concept introduced is the idea that genuine interest often emerges when a person starts to see progress or begins to master an aspect of the activity. This progress can be a powerful motivator, fueling curiosity and encouraging further engagement. For instance, a musician may not initially find playing an instrument easy or enjoyable, but as they develop skills and see improvement, their interest deepens. The same can apply to other pursuits, from sports to academics to creative endeavors. As people become more competent, their interest tends to grow, leading to greater passion and a desire to continue improving. The chapter also highlights how finding something that sparks interest is the first step toward developing grit. Without interest, it becomes incredibly difficult to put in the consistent effort required to reach high levels of skill or success. Interest serves as the fuel that drives persistence, turning challenges into opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to avoid. The author uses examples from various fields to illustrate how interest has played a key role in the development of gritty individuals. Some may have initially stumbled upon a particular interest by accident, while others deliberately sought it out. Over time, as these individuals deepened their knowledge and honed their skills, their interest turned into a passion, and their ability to persevere through difficulties grew. The chapter also delves into the idea of deliberate practice, a focused, structured form of practice that requires deep engagement with the task at hand. The more interest a person has, the more willing they are to engage in deliberate practice, which leads to improved performance and greater mastery. This process is what makes the combination of interest and effort so powerful, as it allows individuals to keep going when progress seems slow or when obstacles arise. In conclusion, the chapter stresses that interest is the starting point for building grit. Without a genuine curiosity or passion for something, it becomes hard to maintain the level of effort required to succeed. By nurturing and developing interest in a subject or activity, individuals lay the foundation for a long lasting commitment that will sustain them through challenges and setbacks, ultimately leading to growth and achievement. The chapter encourages readers to find what excites them and to lean into that curiosity, knowing that it's the spark that will help fuel their perseverance and success. Chapter 7, Practice. In this chapter, the author emphasizes that practice, particularly deliberate practice, is the key to turning talent and interest into real expertise. The chapter argues that natural talent is important, but it is practice, specifically sustained, focused, and intentional practice, that drives improvement and leads to mastery. The author discusses how consistent, quality practice is essential for anyone looking to reach their full potential, regardless of their initial ability. The chapter begins by explaining that practice isn't just about repeating something over and over. It's about engaging in purposeful efforts to improve. Deliberate practice involves pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, working on weaknesses, and seeking feedback to refine your skills. This type of practice is not easy and often feels uncomfortable, but it is through this struggle that progress is made. The author contrasts mindless practice, where a person goes through the motions without focused effort, with deliberate practice, which is intentional and designed to challenge an individual's current abilities. For instance, a musician who practices a challenging piece of music repeatedly, paying attention to specific areas of difficulty, is engaging in deliberate practice. The key difference is that deliberate practice is thoughtful and designed to bring about improvement, while mindless practice often involves simply repeating a task without focusing on areas for growth. The chapter also discusses how great performers in any field, whether in sports, music, business, or academics, don't just practice a lot, They practice with purpose. They identify the areas where they struggle and focus their efforts on improving those specific skills. This targeted approach leads to more rapid progress and higher levels of achievement. The concept of gradual improvement is also explored in this chapter. The author points out that while practice can be frustrating, especially when progress feels slow, it is essential to remember that growth often happens in small incremental steps. Mastery comes not from quick results, but from steady, consistent practice over time. Those who succeed are the ones who embrace this process, understanding that excellence takes time and effort. The chapter includes examples from various fields to illustrate the importance of deliberate practice. For example, athletes like Olympic swimmers and musicians like concert pianists spend countless hours practicing, constantly fine-tuning their skills. What sets them apart isn't just their natural talent, but their commitment to practice, persistence in the face of setbacks, and their ability to keep going despite challenges. The author also addresses the role of feedback in practice. Constructive feedback helps individuals see where they need to improve and allows them to adjust their efforts. This feedback loop, practice, feedback, and improvement, is what helps people progress toward mastery. The chapter emphasizes that the more you expose yourself to constructive criticism, the faster you can refine your skills and move toward greater proficiency. In conclusion, the chapter stresses that practice is not just about putting in the time. It's about putting in the effort in a focused, deliberate way. To improve and ultimately succeed, one must embrace the discomfort of pushing past current abilities, consistently refining skills, and accepting that mastery comes through hard, continuous work. The key takeaway is that no matter how talented or interested you are, without deliberate practice, progress will be limited. Success is a result of persistent, focused effort over time, and this effort, when coupled with passion and perseverance, leads to expertise and achievement. Chapter 8: Purpose. In this chapter, the author explores how having a sense of purpose can significantly enhance grit and motivation. Purpose in this context refers to the deeper meaning or mission that connects your efforts to something larger than yourself. The chapter argues that while passion and perseverance are essential for success, it is purpose that gives those qualities a sense of direction and fulfillment, providing the drive to continue, even when the journey gets tough. The author begins by explaining that purpose isn't something that everyone finds easily or immediately. For many, discovering a sense of purpose is a process that involves exploring different activities, values, and experiences. Purpose goes beyond personal achievement. It's about feeling that your work or goals contribute to a greater good or have a positive impact on others. This deeper connection to one's actions can turn ordinary tasks into meaningful pursuits. The chapter also distinguishes between passion and purpose. While passion is often driven by personal enjoyment or interest, purpose is rooted in the desire to serve or contribute to something larger. For example, an artist may have a passion for painting, but their purpose might be to use their art to inspire others or provoke thought. Similarly, someone who works in healthcare may have a passion for medicine, but their purpose could be to improve the quality of life for patients and their communities. The author emphasizes that having a strong sense of purpose is a major motivator that helps people persist through adversity. When challenges arise or progress seems slow, a clear sense of purpose provides the emotional and psychological fuel to keep going. Purpose can act as a reminder of why you started in the first place, helping to sustain effort during difficult moments. The chapter also explores how purpose can be developed and nurtured. For some, purpose may come from their work, relationships, or contributions to society. For others, it may be tied to personal values like justice, compassion, or creativity. The key is to connect your efforts to something meaningful, whether it's helping others, improving a community, or making the world a better place. The author stresses that having a larger purpose can help shift the focus away from immediate rewards, encouraging perseverance and long-term dedication. Real-life examples are shared throughout the chapter, showing how purpose has been a guiding force for many individuals. For instance, people who work in professions like teaching, healthcare, or social justice often have a sense of purpose that motivates them to push through tough times. Their work is not just about personal success, but about making a positive difference in the lives of others. These examples illustrate that when people see their efforts as part of a larger mission, they are more likely to persist through challenges and setbacks. The chapter concludes with a call to action to discover and nurture your own sense of purpose. By connecting your efforts to something meaningful, you can enhance your motivation, sustain your perseverance, and develop the grit needed to succeed. The author suggests that everyone has the potential to find purpose in their lives, and it is this purpose that can turn hard work into something deeply fulfilling. Ultimately, purpose gives grit a deeper meaning, making it not just a tool for achieving goals, but a force for personal growth and societal contribution. Chapter 9: Hope. In this chapter, the author examines the critical role that hope plays in developing grit and achieving success. Hope, in this context, refers to the belief that your efforts will lead to positive outcomes, even in the face of difficulties. It's the conviction that, with persistence and effort, you can improve and eventually reach your goals. The chapter argues that hope is essential because it fuels perseverance, especially when progress is slow or when setbacks seem overwhelming. The author begins by distinguishing between hope and mere optimism. While optimism is a general positive outlook on life, hope is more specific and goal oriented. Hope is about believing that your actions, no matter how small, will lead to meaningful progress. This belief encourages people to keep going even when things don't seem to be improving right away. Without hope, it's easy to give up when things get tough, but with hope, individuals continue to push through obstacles, knowing that their efforts will eventually pay off. One of the key concepts introduced in this chapter is the power of yet. The author explains that people who have hope believe that they can improve over time, even if they haven't succeeded yet. For example, a student who struggles in school but continues to study and put in effort can maintain hope by reminding themselves that they haven't mastered the material yet, but with time and persistence, they will. This mindset encourages resilience and makes setbacks seem like part of the learning process rather than insurmountable roadblocks. The chapter also discusses how hope interacts with other qualities like perseverance and passion. Hope provides the psychological foundation for grit. It's what makes perseverance sustainable over time. Without hope, people might give up when faced with failure or frustration. Hope fuels the belief that each step forward, even if it feels small, brings you closer to your goals. It helps individuals stay focused on the long-term vision rather than being discouraged by temporary setbacks or slow progress. Real-life examples are used throughout the chapter to illustrate the power of hope in overcoming challenges. The author shares stories of people who faced significant obstacles, but by holding on to hope, were able to find ways to succeed. These examples show that hope isn't about denying the difficulty of a situation. It's about maintaining the belief that progress is possible with effort, even when success feels distant. The chapter also explores the role of hope in the context of social support. People who surround themselves with others who encourage them, offer help, or provide a sense of community are more likely to maintain hope during tough times. Social support acts as a buffer against discouragement and reinforces the belief that with time and effort, things will improve. The chapter concludes by encouraging readers to cultivate hope in their own lives. The author suggests that hope can be nurtured through small actions by setting realistic goals, seeking out support, and focusing on progress rather than perfection. Hope is not something that comes easily to everyone, but with practice, it can become a powerful force that helps individuals persevere and grow. By fostering hope, individuals are more likely to stay committed to their goals and continue putting in the effort required to achieve them, even when faced with obstacles. Ultimately, the chapter underscores that hope is an essential component of grit. It provides the belief that you can succeed with enough effort, and it's this belief that fuels the persistence necessary to keep going, even when the road is difficult. Hope transforms challenges into opportunities for growth, and it's this hopeful mindset that makes the long, arduous journey toward success worth pursuing. Chapter 10: Parenting for Grit. In this chapter, the author delves into the powerful role that parents play in fostering grit in their children. Parenting, according to the author, is one of the most influential factors in helping children develop the passion, perseverance, and resilience necessary to succeed in the long run. The chapter provides guidance for parents on how to raise children who not only work hard, but also persist through challenges and setbacks. The chapter begins by exploring the difference between fixed and growth mindsets, drawing from Carol Dweck's research on the subject. Parents who encourage a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through effort, are more likely to raise gritty children. By praising effort over innate talent, parents help children understand that success comes from hard work and persistence, not just natural ability. This approach fosters a sense of control and belief in their own potential, rather than feeling stuck by their perceived limitations. The author also discusses the importance of setting high expectations for children. However, these expectations should be coupled with encouragement, support, and realistic goals. Parents who push their children to achieve their best, while also providing them with the tools and confidence to overcome challenges, create an environment where grit can thrive. Setting goals that are challenging yet achievable helps children develop perseverance as they learn to push through obstacles and setbacks along the way. Another key point in the chapter is the importance of allowing children to experience failure. While it's natural for parents to want to shield their children from pain or disappointment, failure is an essential part of developing grit. Children who face difficulties, make mistakes, and struggle to overcome challenges are learning how to persist. Rather than shielding children from every failure, parents should use these moments as opportunities to teach resilience and the value of perseverance. The chapter also emphasizes the power of modeling grit. Children learn by observing the behavior of their parents. Parents who demonstrate grit in their own lives, by working hard toward their own goals, persevering in the face of challenges, and maintaining a positive, growth oriented mindset, show their children how to approach difficulties. When parents live out these qualities, they provide an example for their children to emulate, reinforcing the idea that persistence is key to success. The author also notes the importance of fostering a sense of purpose in children. Children who understand the larger purpose behind their efforts, whether it's contributing to their community, improving a skill, or making a difference in the world, are more likely to stay motivated and dedicated. Purpose provides the emotional and psychological fuel that sustains grit over the long term. Parents can help by encouraging their children to pursue activities that align with their interests and values, and by helping them see the broader impact of their efforts. The chapter concludes with practical advice for parents on how to cultivate grit in their children. This includes praising effort and progress rather than an innate ability, encouraging perseverance in the face of setbacks, allowing children to fail and learn from their mistakes, and fostering a growth mindset. Parents are also encouraged to be patient, recognizing that developing grit is a gradual process that requires consistent support and encouragement. Ultimately, the chapter emphasizes that parenting for grit is not about pushing children to succeed at all costs, but about fostering an environment where hard work, resilience, and a belief in the power of effort are valued and nurtured. By doing so, parents can help their children develop the perseverance and passion they need to achieve long term success, no matter the challenges they encounter along the way. Chapter 11: The Playing Fields of Grit. In this chapter, the author highlights how extracurricular activities, especially sports, serve as powerful playing fields for developing grit. These activities provide an environment where children and adults alike can cultivate passion, perseverance, and resilience, all of which are key components of grit. The chapter argues that the lessons learned in these fields often go beyond physical skills and can shape an individual's ability to succeed in all areas of life. The chapter begins by discussing how sports, in particular, can teach valuable lessons about effort, persistence, and overcoming obstacles. Athletes regularly face challenges, whether it's losing a game, making mistakes, or dealing with setbacks. It is in these moments that grit is built. Um, Through consistent practice, the experience of failure, and the drive to improve, athletes develop a sense of perseverance that translates into greater resilience both in and outside of sports. The author emphasizes that sports provide an ideal setting for cultivating grit because they inherently require sustained effort, practice, and a willingness to face adversity. The key to developing grit in these environments is not just winning or succeeding, but the process of pushing through difficulties, learning from mistakes, and striving to improve over time. The chapter suggests that the best athletes are those who embrace the grind, who are willing to put in the work even when it's difficult, and who stay focused on long term goals rather than short term setbacks. The chapter also discusses the role of coaches and mentors in shaping gritty athletes. Coaches can instill a sense of perseverance in their players by encouraging them to keep going, even when progress seems slow or setbacks occur. Good coaches don't just focus on technical skills, they emphasize the importance of mindset, resilience, and effort. They help athletes understand that their ability to push through adversity is just as important as their physical abilities. The author shares examples of coaches who foster a growth oriented environment where failure is seen as a part of the learning process and effort is continually celebrated. Furthermore, the chapter highlights that sports don't just teach grit in a competitive sense, they also help individuals learn how to be part of a team, how to support others, and how to handle pressure. These social and emotional lessons are just as important as the physical aspects of sports. The camaraderie and teamwork involved in sports activities help individuals develop empathy, cooperation, and the ability to persevere in the face of collective challenges. The author also acknowledges that while sports are a great avenue for developing grit, they are not the only way. Other activities like music, theater, or academic pursuits can also serve as playing fields where grit is cultivated. The key is that any activity that requires sustained effort, practice, and the willingness to face setbacks can help build the perseverance necessary for success in life. The chapter concludes by encouraging individuals, especially parents, coaches, and mentors, to recognize the importance of fostering grit through participation in activities that challenge and engage. By helping children and adults learn how to deal with failure, put in consistent effort, and stay focused on long term goals, we can create environments where grit thrives. Whether on a sports field or in another domain, the playing fields of grit are the places where we learn to persist, grow, and achieve greatness. Chapter 12: A Culture of Grit. In this chapter, the author explores how the development of grit can be influenced by the culture and environment surrounding an individual. The chapter argues that grit is not just an individual trait, but also something that can be nurtured within a community or organization. A culture of grit refers to an environment where perseverance, passion, and hard work are valued and promoted, and where individuals are encouraged to face challenges with resilience and determination. The chapter begins by explaining how culture plays a significant role in shaping how people approach challenges. In cultures that emphasize the importance of effort and perseverance, individuals are more likely to develop gritty behaviors and attitudes. For example, organizations, schools, and communities that prioritize the value of persistence over natural talent create an environment where grit can flourish. When people are surrounded by others who value hard work and resilience, they are more likely to adopt these values themselves. The author illustrates the concept of a culture of grit with examples from different settings. One example is of a school that fostered a growth mindset, where teachers not only celebrated success, but also focused on the effort that led to improvement. In such environments, students are encouraged to view mistakes and failures as learning opportunities, not as reasons to give up. This kind of culture reinforces the belief that effort leads to improvement and that success comes from sustained hard work over time. Similarly, the author discusses how organizations and businesses can cultivate a culture of grit by setting high expectations and supporting employees through challenges. In companies that emphasize perseverance and long term goals, employees are more likely to stay motivated and committed, even in the face of setbacks. The author stresses that building a culture of grit involves creating an atmosphere where people are given the tools, resources, and encouragement they need to keep pushing forward, even when the work becomes difficult. The chapter also explores how a culture of grit is essential for success in high performance environments, such as professional sports or elite academic settings. In these fields, the pressure to succeed is immense and failure can be discouraging. However, in cultures where resilience is valued, individuals are more likely to remain motivated and focused on long term improvement. The chapter highlights examples of successful teams and organizations that foster a culture of grit by promoting collaboration, continuous learning, and an unwavering commitment to improvement. The author points out that building a culture of grit is not always easy. It requires intentional effort and leadership. Leaders in organizations, schools, and communities must actively promote the values of persistence, effort, and resilience. They must model gritty behaviors themselves and reinforce the importance of hard work, not just talent. Additionally, leaders must provide opportunities for individuals to grow, take risks, and face challenges in a supportive environment that values improvement over perfection. The chapter concludes with a call to action for readers to help create a culture of grit in their own communities, schools, and organizations. By promoting the values of persistence, resilience, and hard work, we can build environments where individuals are motivated to keep going despite challenges, where failure is seen as part of the learning process, and where grit becomes a shared value that drives long term success. In essence, the chapter underscores that grit is not only a personal quality, but also a cultural phenomenon that can be cultivated through supportive communities and organizations. A culture of grit nurtures perseverance and passion, empowering individuals to achieve great things over time, no matter how difficult the journey may be. Conclusion. In the final section of the book, the author brings together the various elements of grit discussed throughout the chapters and emphasizes how essential it is for long term success and personal growth. The conclusion reinforces that grit, defined as a combination of passion and perseverance, is not a fixed trait, but a quality that can be cultivated and developed over time through effort and determination. The author revisits key themes such as the importance of a growth mindset, the value of deliberate practice, and the role of purpose and hope in sustaining perseverance. It is through the combination of these factors that individuals can develop grit, enabling them to overcome challenges and setbacks on their journey to success. The chapter also emphasizes that grit is not just about individual effort. It is deeply influenced by the culture, environment, and support systems surrounding a person, whether in a family, school, workplace, or community. The conclusion provides encouragement for those who may feel discouraged or unsure about their ability to develop grit. Um, the author reassures readers that grit is a journey, not an overnight transformation. It requires continuous learning, effort, and the willingness to face setbacks with resilience. However, the rewards, personal growth, accomplishment, and the ability to navigate life's challenges are well worth the effort. Ultimately, the conclusion calls readers to embrace grit as a way of life, encouraging them to pursue their goals with passion and perseverance, to cultivate a mindset that values effort over innate talent, and to create environments that support and nurture the development of grit in others. Whether it's in personal pursuits, professional endeavors, or relationships, grit is the key to pushing through adversity and achieving lasting success.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me. If you found the video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to leave a comment.